So key thing is that designers need to focus on artifact creation early on in their careers, period.
Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into Nodes of Design. To help support our mission spread knowledge, we have a very special guest in today's episode. Let's welcome Amit Dangwal, who's a design director at Microsoft India Development Center, where he leads the Search and AI Design Studio. He has been with Microsoft for 16 years with a total of 20 years of experience in designing user-centric products and solutions. Amit has led design teams for products such as Microsoft Office, SharePoint, CRM and Lync. He holds a Masters of Design degree from IIT Bombay and Bachelor's of Architecture degree from School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi. He's passionate about creating engaging and delightful experiences for users across different platforms and devices. In this episode, Amit had shared great insights on how to grow as a designer in an organization. We spoke about what are some of the core skills needed for a designer to possess growth in an organization and how could designers show their value and impact business outcomes. We then spoke on what role does collaboration play in growth and development of a designer within an organization and how can designers take on leadership role and what sort of prep is needed for that. Later then, we concluded the show by how can designers use feedback to grow and improve their work and how does organizations measure the success of a designer's work. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and on every Friday we release new episodes with different creative leaders from around the world to help you better understand different concepts related to design. So don't forget to tune in into Notes of Design every Friday. With that being said, happy designing everyone. Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into Nodes of Design. In this episode, we have a very special guest. Hi Amit, welcome to Nodes of Design.
Hey, Ritesh, thanks for having me here.
Thank you so much, Amit. So if you could give a brief about yourself to our listeners out there.
My name is Amit Dangwal. I am currently working at Microsoft. I lead what I tell everyone is the AI plus search division for design. I've been with Microsoft for 16 years now. I studied architecture from Delhi. My schooling and college, everything was from Delhi. My undergrad was in B.Arch in School of Planning and Architecture, after which I did my master's in industrial design from IIT Bombay. I worked in product design consulting, in automotive surface modeling, post which I moved to user experience design.
Thank you so much, Amit. So what was your journey into design and how did you start? And what are your tips to the beginners on starting the journey?
So how did my journey in design start? I'll start by answering that bit first. I had an uncle who unfortunately is no longer with us, my mama. He was an architect. And when I look back, I realized that the work that he was doing while I was growing up played a big influence in my moving towards designing, specifically architecture as such. At that time, it was not evident, but now I look back, I think that was the most prominent influence that I had. There used to be a lot of physical models of buildings and cars in his house. Whenever I used to go there, I used to play with them a lot. And I think that somewhere inside grew into a full-fledged desire to do design. Also from a pretty early age, I was good at sketching and drawing. Not in math or physics, but sketching and drawing, although I had PCM in school. So all these put together, I tried for entrance exam for School of Planning and Architecture in Delhi. I got through and there started my journey in design. Tips for beginners starting their design journey. I was surprised last week. So my daughter is finishing the 10th standard and she's moving to the 11th standard. I was surprised to know that CBSE now offers design as a course in the 11th standard. It's a fifth optional course that we'll have. So to anybody who wants to go to design, actually a journey can start much earlier than what we had an option for. And also in a much planned and a methodical manner because it's part of a curriculum. So that's one way to kind of do that. You can look at having design as a fifth subject in your 11th standard. And I think because it's sponsored through CBSE, all schools will have that. And also I think just being curious and inquisitive will help developing a skill set in any medium of art, drawing, sketching is also a plus. There are so many people who got iPads these days. Get a Procreate, start playing with it. So if I have to sum it up, you need to have a passion for design, drawing, sketching, and general inquisitiveness about everything around you. That will be a first step towards the long and fabulous journey in design.
Thank you so much, Amit. So let's begin today's our episode into growing as a designer in an organization. So what are the core skills that a designer needs to possess to grow in an organization?
Yeah, great question. This is something I used to talk about a lot, not as much right now. The core skill, the answer that is straightforward that you need to have is the ability to design. And when I say design, very specifically, if you're an industrial designer, you should be able to create thousands of sketches, hundreds of models, and many renderings. If you're a UX designer, you should be able to churn out screens like super fast, lot of variety. So the key thing is that designers need to focus on artifact creation early on in their careers. Period. You know, uh, they should love the work that they are doing, and this in turn will lead to even more deliberate, conscious efforts towards the screen creation for designers or UI creation for designers. I think that's the only skill you need to focus on early in your career. Basically, don't worry too much about domain early on. Try out your hands in various domains if you get an opportunity, because many times early on in the career you don't have a good sense of what you would possibly want to do or what opportunities lie ahead of you. So it's okay to go a bit broad, but the key is no matter what direction or what domain you pick up, you need to have a super voracious appetite for creating fantastic output. I look at a lot of resumes and portfolios that come to us. Sometimes I go to the LinkedIn profile of folks, and everybody right now is a design thinker, strategic leader, irrespective of the number of years of experience that you have. You're a design evangelist, and these are great terms to have. Honestly, none of this should. It's good to have these as keywords for matching. Somebody's doing a search on profiles, but all of these don't make much sense for folks who are early on in their career. Design strategy is something that I, honestly, I don't even think that a lot of the folks in the industry know what it means. Strategy alone is a very, very misused word. My recommendation would still be having fantastic core UI design production skills and have an ability to take feedback. And that's something that's as important as your ability to designing well. An ability to take feedback positively and to be able to extract what you can use and then run with it. This is something that the sooner you learn and implement in your career, the better will it be for you for the longer run. And this is actually true for all functions, even for dev and PM and other streams as well, but more so for design, because more often than other functions, design teams or designers are the people who are creating artifacts, putting it in front of the room and getting a whole lot of feedback.
Thank you so much, Amit. So how could designers show their value to organization and impact business outcomes?
Interesting. Quite some time back, around 20 years ago, I used to write a blog. And this is something I'd written in one of the first blogs that I'd written. I don't even know. I know the blog is dead right now. I'm not gone to it for the last 17, 18 years. But one article that I wrote caught a bunch of likes and positive comments. And it was about exactly this thing. I may not be answering your question directly over here, but I'll talk about what I wrote. There's a lot of discussion earlier. It's no longer as much prevalent. But early on, in my career, when design was still being adopted as a skill set or as a being included as a function in many companies, there was this constant discussion around how does design show value. And the other side to this was that leadership does not see VPs and CPs. They don't understand design. They don't see value in what we bring to the table. What I wrote about was that, look, there are people who are running millions of dollars worth of net worth of companies. They're taking so many other business decisions. They've stood up startups, tech firms and all. It's incorrect for us to say that they can't see value or they don't see value in what design is bringing to the table. They see value in all the other functions as well. Even they understand how operations are done, operational part of the thing, business side, tech side. Design should be evident, or design value should be evident to them. Most of the time I realized that we were not doing a good job of bringing value. Yeah. And we were kind of going around playing the victim at all. My leadership does not understand what design is bringing to the table. So that I think is key. That if you are bringing value, it will be noticed. Now the next question would be that how do you define value from a viewpoint of the design function? Value can be brought in many, many ways. The most important one being that design has the ability to present a vision which can enroll the leadership. I gave a talk in last week in Triple IT to a CS batch, and this thing came up as to the ability to envision is very, very important in the design function. I gave the example of building a house. If you start building a house out of plan or what should it look like, you will end up with a bunch of rooms. You would have done a lot of work, spent a lot of money. There would be something like a house that was built, but it will not be super functional, super optimal, not possibly the best looking. So software and all the product development works like that. We need to have a vision around which the pro teams can build, write their code or do their specs on. And the folks in the company who are leading strategy, who are leading product, are your best partners or consumers for these sort of visionary outputs. So from a value perspective, if you can tell the leader of a group or a product stream that, hey, this is where we would want to go, get feedback from them and align the design directions, the design output with what they would want to get done, then you want to buy in from the top. And once you're buying from the top, then it becomes much easier. Many times, a lot of designers spend a lot of time doing a lot of explorations, based on the asks that come from the product team. Everything very tactical in nature. So you're literally fixing 10,000 fires in a year. That many times doesn't necessarily elevate your thinking to a level that can be appreciated at a broader scale. Not to say that this firefighting or this sometimes mindless production work is not important. It is required. How do you find the right balance between doing this and then setting the vision now for everyone to see and appreciate?
Thank you, Amit. So what role does collaboration play in growth and development of a designer within an organization?
I think this question would be again applicable to all streams. You can say, what role does collaboration play in the growth of a program manager, or what role does collaboration play in the development of a developer? Collaboration is super duper important, more important than for the designer than other functions. Because the way product is structured right now is a designer will come up with a design. Now, if your partners are not onboarded or you're not collaborating well with them, there is a chance that you will meet up with a lot of resistance. One sort of discussions in such forums are, hey, this is the issue in design. Can we change that? Can we fix that? Which is product level feedback. Many times, due to the dynamics in the room, you get a lot of feedback that can have some other origins. You've been a jerk, to your partners, and people in the room are not bought into working with you. And the feedback is not around the quality of the design, but more like, man, this person is doing something I don't like, and I'm not going to build it no matter what. So there are a whole lot of reasons around which you can get a bunch of feedback. So in order for you to be able to get the design through and across, it is essential that you've got a lot of alignment partners who will take you along in the journey and who you take along as well in the product design journey. So it becomes absolutely essential for you to collaborate well. Yeah, because unless you can code the thing on your own, then you don't even need that meeting actually. Then you can sit in the startup and doing it. But for the product to mature, because in a lot of setups, the layout is very, very well equipped and qualified from product perspective. So it's not that once you've given the design, that only that version of the design will work. You get inputs. So how well you appreciate a partner input, how well they are enrolled into your vision of the product, how much they are enrolled in ensuring that you succeed, and the other way around as well, that you are responsible for the success as well. And all this comes together. This forms a fantastic collaborative group. And then all feedback is constructive. And then everybody grows and the product becomes bigger and better. So be nice, basically.
So, Amit, how can designers take on leadership roles within the organization? What sort of preparation or guidance is required?
I'll again go back to how I've been looking at resume profiles that come to us. One definition of leadership in the industry is that I lead a team of people. We don't see that much right now. But earlier at a point in time, we used to get resume and profiles. I used to get them. Yeah, 5 years experience. I'm a team lead. I'm a senior leader over there and doing stuff like that. Man, the first 5 years of my career, I didn't even know, honestly, what is it that I would want to specialize in. I was just building my skill sets. I'd done industrial design, automotive surfacing, modeling, and UI design. I was trying out a whole lot of things. Now, I'm sure there may be folks who are more talented and much luckier than I was, come to know their calling pretty early on. But the idea of being a leader means that you're leading a team. I think first you need to get out of that motion. So a leader does a lot of things. As I said earlier, you take people along, you show them the vision, and then people believe in you. So first thing is that we need to think of a leader from that aspect. It's not about being a team lead or a manager of a group. It is about, can you be the go-to person for a specific area or a specialization or a domain or design if need be? And how do you build that skill set and how do you build that credibility is the key. Team size, you becoming a lead, a manager, those are all, I would say, results. And in an organization like ours, there is I don't think, in at least in R&D, there is something in a skill called people management. You do it alongside with the product. There's nothing like I have got 5 people and only manage them. Product will happen on its own. So the core skill should be of leadership should be design. And as you grow, the level at which you think about design should also increase. The opportunity for leadership for somebody who's in the company, say, or the industry for 4 or 5 years is there, and it is different from somebody who's been in the industry for 20 years. Both will get leadership opportunities, but the attributes and traits they need to display are different. For somebody who's been in the industry say, for 20 years, strategic thinking around product, how they will plan the design, what are the larger design goals they want to achieve, contribute to product success is something that possibly they would be thinking of. For somebody fresher and newer, it is constantly about high quality of design, high quality of fit and finish, so that you get respected for your craft. That's one way of developing leadership.
Thank you so much, Amit. So as we discussed on feedback a lot of times in a conversation, so how can designers use feedback and constructive criticism to grow and improve their work?
This is a fantastic question, and this is something that I wish I should have been told or mentored upon early on in my career. The way I look at it and the way I talk about it is that once you are in a room, you're presenting something, you can't control the feedback that's coming in. Maybe through some super fantastic moderation you can, but in a room of 10 people, you're showing stuff and people give you feedback at various levels. Some will give you granular, pinpointed, some will give you strategic, high level. The tone in which the feedback will come, the language that feedback will come, everything will be different. So early on, it can be very overwhelming when you're in a room. Hey, what is this person trying to say? What do they mean by that? Am I capturing everything? Record the meeting, go back and look at it. But when the feedback is coming, then it is very common for people to get carried away. That, hey, this feedback, I'm not sure why this person is saying this to me. I don't think he likes my design, or that person, she's, acting like I moved a cheese the other day, or whatever. There's a tendency to take the feedback very personally. And the key to success in this particular area is, how can you detach yourself personally from the feedback that is coming in? You have to look at it from a very, very objective manner, that all feedback is coming is for the product. It is not a reflection of me, of my work or my ability or my skill. That's something that people have. I used to do that a lot. I got this feedback, the person is not liking my design. Are they saying that I'm not a good designer? I didn't put in enough effort on it. I spent 3 nights, working on this, and how can they say such a thing? The first thing is that, how do you not get carried away by emotion and look at feedback very objectively as to what is it that I can take out from this line that was said to me on this particular design, and then get it out and document it like that. Yeah. So you have to remove yourself from the equation when you're getting the feedback. You have to understand the feedback is for the product, even if it might come across as personal. That's okay. You need to figure out, and it's not easy. It takes years of training, multiple reviews of this sort for you to be able to get to that state. And it takes, and I still, honestly, if you put me in a line of fire right now, the large root feedback coming in, I have to be very, very deliberate and conscious about how do I handle that feedback. So in the heat of the moment, it can be very difficult, but that's the training that everyone has to go through. Detach yourself personally from the feedback that is coming in, then collate the feedback, and then look at what is it that is actionable in your space and fix that. And after that, reach out to friends, colleagues, partners who can help you out with the rest of the feedback. So that's, I think, one way to kind of get feedback and work on it. And also, it's good to acknowledge feedback whenever it comes. Many times feedback will come synchronously, many times it will come asynchronously over email. If somebody sent you feedback to your email, they are putting in the effort, taking out time from their otherwise busy schedule to write an email to you. Thank them for that.
So Amit, how does the organization measure the success of a designer's work? For example, can you please tell us about any recent project where design team played a very vital role in project success?
Yeah, again, a very, very good question, and something that we've already talked about how does an organization recognize and understand value that the user experience team is bringing in. So what happens in a large design setup is you've got a good design depth. You've got folks who are fresh from college, folks who've been in the industry for 4, 5 years, 10, 15 years, 20 years. We have a large spectrum to look at, through and through. And the definition of value at a specific role or a level has to be defined and understood and measured. And same way all up to VP level or even a C level within Microsoft. So the first thing is that it's just not one lens that will help you understand the value that a role is bringing. It's a layered approach. And let me start by giving examples of, say, from an individual contributor perspective, what is it that we measure success by? First thing is that you have to be good at your craft, great at your craft. That is the underlying requirement. Fit and finish, your ability to do mocks, quick turnaround time. These are the most important things. There has to be no let up in quality. Every screen, every pixel has to be crafted. I tell this to everyone who joins new, is that really everything that we design, there is not one pixel on the screen that's not been debated upon. So that's the level of detail that we go into, and a designer who's creating that UI, has to have that level of attention to detail in mind. As you grow in seniority or in your span and scope, along with the designs that you can do, your ability to collaborate with a larger set of folks and more senior set of folks becomes important. As you grow further, your ability to be able to understand the implicit things that might come up in a discussion, or even the explicit tasks, OKRs, how do you tie them into your design output, into the work the design team is doing, and then create a great looking set of high fidelity mocks or designs as a part. So as you see, as you're growing in your career, in your role, there are multiple layers and responsibilities that get added that can define your impact, your success, and your growth. Over a period of time, you'll realize that you may not be creating as many Figma files as you were, say, 10 years ago. Then how do you define your ability or skills as a designer? We look at the design decisions that you're making, then the quality of output that's coming from your team. You will always be known for the output that either you create or comes out of your team. Yeah? So high quality bar for design is the core fundamentals all up. That's non-negotiable. That's hygiene basically. So that's something that will continue to be super duper important throughout. And over a period of time, you should be able to identify areas where design impact is clearly visible in the product. And what is also more evident is how the design that you did that made its way into the product was solving some known customer issues or maybe unknown issues that were never articulated, and that is leading to business growth and adoption. So this is how kind of from a very, very early onset in your career to a much more experienced set of design leaders is how you can measure impact and success. So with this question, that can you pick up examples? I think there are many. There are so many examples that if I start calling them out, I don't think I'll do justice to the whole lot of others which I'll not call out. But as a pattern, what we have seen is that you show a design in a room and everybody's like jaws dropped. That's one very, very basic way of defining impact and success. There's a different discussion around whether it can be done or built or later on. But when it is seen in a larger group, the leadership is like, wow, this is what I want to do. Yeah, this is where we want to go. Is one very, very easy metric. And I call it hitting the ball out of the park. Every time you show something, it's a jaw-dropping effort. Quality is there. And many times this can be done not only by having a fantastic set of comps, but also very nicely and well-articulated user problem or a business problem that you're trying to solve. So whenever you do these in conjunction, more often than not, we get a very positive response from the room.
Thank you so much, Amit, for sharing all these insights with us. So could you please share with us, how does your day look like or any interesting stories?
Yeah, man, I'll just talk about the day. Interesting story. I'm not sure which one. So, please, when I work at Microsoft, every day is full of energy and excitement. Many times when people ask me, why I've been there so long, I don't have an answer. But I don't have a clear answer. But one thing is evident that the kind of people we work with who are super smart, and really helpful, and the environment that's there in the company. And the fact that from a pure product development perspective and the problem that you have to solve, it is a fantastic challenge every week. Come into office knowing that there'll be some really interesting discussion that you will have to be a part of or solve a problem that will affect hundreds of millions of users. We're not talking about stuff with 100,000 DAO or 150,000, 200,000 DAO. We're talking about millions at planet scale many times, as they calls it. So this is what kind of keeps me going. In a typical day-to-day, love to spend as much time as I can in product reviews. I believe I am driven by product and get excited by design. So on a good day, I would say that half of my day would talking about product, sitting in informal discussions or formal meetings and product reviews. However, I don't believe I get an opportunity to do those things as much. The way I think I'm functioning right now is that how can I bring clarity to everyone around me so that they can do their best. Many times teams or individuals get blocked. They do not know how to move forward or what the right set of next steps are. So most of the activities that I take up during the day is bringing clarity to the team, to the product group, or an individual. They can happen through one-on-ones. They can happen through product reviews. They can happen through ship rooms. But the idea is that how can I lend clarity to the system? And when I do that, how can I bring in energy into the system as well? I like to have studio folks around me. We see a lot of improper discussions kind of starting around some design problem somebody's working on, and it's the studio environment is very, very lively generally. So these are the two things, and these map to Microsoft leadership principles as well. How do you bring clarity and how do you bring energy, and while you deliver a fantastic impact. So most of my day goes into meetings or product review with people trying to achieve either of these or both of these.
Thank you so much, Amit. So we'll conclude this show by your 3 favorite books and people who inspire you the most in this space.
Yeah, interesting question. Books. So right now, a lot of my reading is on the web. I have a subscription of Wired, which I kind of go through on a regular basis, and then I take in all tech news from all sort of sources. If I have to call it the books that have left an impression on me, one book that was gifted to me by Deepak, my manager, I think it was written by a FBI hosted negotiator. It was called Never Split the Difference. It's about art of negotiating. I think it was a very, very interesting insight. I think the author talks about how he grown his career, and he shared a lot of examples of negotiations where he's participated in. So that's a great book because if you're working in a complex environment, you have a lot of partners with you. You are always trying to find the right balance between what say you want, what the product team wants, what business wants. It's always a slight subtle negotiation that's going on. I think that's one thing that is definitely helpful. The other book which I read some time back, was Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. And that I think is a very, 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 very good read. The more recent ones, I think I've tried to restart the Foundation series by Asimov. I read it in college, and then I realized that I've not read the whole series, so I've bought a whole 7 or 8 of them sometime back, but could never get them to do that. But yeah, the Asimov Foundation series is another good one. People who inspire me the most. I have learned a lot from really every manager I've had in Microsoft. A lot of my learning will come down to what I have earned in Microsoft. All my managers, through and through. Current manager Deepak Payan, who's a VP of design in India, how articulate she is. It's super, super impressive. Our design leadership call up, I think Satya goes without saying, man, the kind of influence Satya's had in the organization, in the culture of the company is absolutely mind blowing. To bring culture to elevate at a level where it is as important as the product. And the people, is a very, very kind of a bold thing for him to do, and it's remarkable the change that I was brought in. Some of you would know that I follow Formula One, so I really like Toto Wolff and Chris Horner. These are the team principals for Mercedes and Red Bull. If you watch Drive to Survive, you will realize that no matter how big a company you are leading, how big a business you are leading, some of the core fears, or some of the issues that you'll face are very, 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 very similar. The challenge is the will to prove it to no one else but to yourself, the desire to excel no matter what, and feeling bad when you're not winning. So yeah, really admire these two folks, Yeah. Try to survive the fantastic series.
Thank you so much, Amit, for sharing all these wonderful recommendations with us. We're looking forward to host you again in our upcoming episodes. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Ritesh and team, for having me here. And yep, thank you very much.